Hi everyone. Okay, today we will be playing a magnificent game called hold on a second. Where's the here we go, properties. Let's let's go. Perfect. Ooh. Hey. Hi. Stuff and things. Yeah. Who knows? She was eating some FUD, but then she wasn't anymore. So now I don't know. So this is a really cool game. It's called Time for Learning, aka School. Okay. So let's start off with, I guess, meth? Meth's pretty nice. Hey Dad, do you like meth?
What?
Do you like meth? I thought you liked school and stuff. What? I'm talking about meth. I mean, oh, math. Sorry. Look, meth.
Where'd you go? You never got your phone out?
I didn't need it.
Oh.
Ew, why did Kinley leave a freaking...
I don't know.
Ew. Ew, I'm gonna put that in the poo-poo horn. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hey, Dad.
Hey.
Do you like meth?
It's not bad. Take it back for the guy?
A vitamin? Ooh, a vitamin. A vitamin. Batman. Hey, Dad, come here.
What?
Just come here. Okay.
I keep walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What, fool?
Look, it literally says meth. I'm learning meth.
Oh.
School is fun! Yay! Oof, I just clicked the refresh. Okay. Oh wait, don't you need a I'm stupid.
Did you know that the radius of a hydrogen atom is about 5/100 billionths of a meter? That's
I did.
0.000000005 meters.
That's equivalent to
Within
how
the
many girls you
hydrogen
get.
atom are even smaller particles called protons and electrons. The radius of a proton is known to be about 1/quadrillionth of a meter, 15 places to the right of the decimal point. And the radius of an electron is thought to be even smaller again, at about 1/1000th of the radius of a proton. As you can imagine, writing out numbers like these all the time could get quite tedious. This is why many scientists and mathematicians use a system to represent very large and very small numbers in a way that makes them easy to read and write. This system is called scientific notation.
Yeah,
Scientific notation is a way to write a number as a decimal number greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10, multiplied by a power of 10.
Yes, I know. I taught myself that like 5 years ago.
To help us understand how scientific notation is used to write very small numbers, let's first review the powers of 10. We know that 10 to the power of 0 equals 1. 10 to the
Okay, buddy,
power...
I'm gonna stop you right there. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, sextillion, septillion, octillion, nonillion, decillion. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15.
Power of
guarantee.
1 equals 10. 10
Oh,
to the
well then-
power of
okay, wait,
2 equals
3.
100.
Okay, wait,
10
no.
to the power of 3 equals
I was thinking of
1,000,
I was thinking
and
of
so
that
on.
thing that I just said, sorry. Still.
Okay, we've reviewed powers of 10 for place values to the left of the decimal point, but what about the powers of 10 for place values to the right of the decimal point? That is, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on.
10,000, 100,000.
Well, let's look at the pattern here. We know
It's just
that
negative
100 is written as 10 to the power of 2, 10 is written
What
as
does that
10 to the
mean?
power of 1, and 1 is written as 10 to the power of 0. Notice that as we move to the right, each place value is 1/10 of the previous place value. Also, notice that the power of 10 decreases by 1 for each place value we move to the right. Now let's continue this pattern. The value to the next...
Do I really have to do this whole thing?
Yeah.
I done learned this like 5 years
Okay,
ago.
we'll take the test.
Bruh, I gotta sit through it all. Okay.
Next place to the right is found by taking 1/10 of 1, which is 1/10. So this is the 10th place. And decreasing the power of 10 by 1 more gives 10 to the power of -1. The place to the right of that is the 100th place. So here we can write 10 to the power of -2. And the power of 10, or exponent, continues to decrease by 1 for each place value we move to the right. Now we know that the place values on the right side of the ones place represent numbers between 0 and 1. So numbers between 0 and 1 can be expressed using negative powers of 10. 1/10 can be written as 10 to the power of -1. 100th can be written as 10 to the power of -2, and so on.
Yeah.
Let's see, does it take us right here? It does. Let's see, does it do that? No, it does not. Huh. Let's just go to youtube.com. Oh, it's a very long one. Okay, so now should just take me to my page, right? Yeah, and then I can just click on that. Okay. Perfect.
How is 1/10,000th expressed using a power of... The answer is 10 to the power of negative 4. The 10,000th place is 4 places to the right of the ones place, so we decrease the power of 10 by 4.
I should not be doing this while sick. My brain is not
So
functioning.
what about scientific notation? Remember that it involves writing a number as a decimal number greater than or equal to 1, and less than 10 times a power of 10. Well, we've seen that 1/10,000th, for example, can be expressed as 10 to the power of negative 4, but that's just the same as...
What? What? What?
Did you know
Nope.
that the radius of a hydrogen atom
I don't-
is about 5
I don't
100?
want. Oh, I'm just gonna go to the next one.
Listen, quiz. The quiz.
Ooh, yay, a test. Jesus, what is this? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, well, 10, never mind. Okay. So that's 10 zeros. So 5.25, right? Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. The diameter of a bacterium called a is that 1,500 thousandths of a meter. What is this in scientific notation? Whoa. Wait, would it be that? Minus 5, so yeah, that would be right then. Okay. -6. Ooh. So that. Wait a minute. Yes, it'd be that. Okay. Oh, a perfect score. A perfect score. Hey, Macarena. Rational and irrational numbers. Ooh, I taught myself that in the second.
What does it
grade.
mean to be rational? When a person is described as rational, we often think of them as reasonable, sensible, or of good judgment. And how about irrational? When we describe a person as being irrational, we often think of them as somebody who cannot think things through or
Oh, his
reason.
face is all
But
red.
rational and
You like
irrational
this?
also have other meanings. In mathematics, when a number
Looks
is
like
rational,
it
it
means
means it can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. In fact, notice that the word ratio is in rational. And irrational? Well, an irrational number is a number that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers.
Yes, I understand that.
So when we speak mathematically, a rational number is defined as a number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers, usually written in the form of a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not 0.
Just say positive or negative.
For example,
number.
each of these numbers can be written as a ratio of two integers. 15 is the same as 15 divided by 1. So 15 can be written as the ratio of 15 to 1. 1/4 is the ratio of the integer 1 to the integer 4. The number 0.2 can be written as the ratio of the integer 2 to the integer 10, which can be simplified to 1/5 or the ratio of 1 to 5. And negative numbers can also be rational,
Hey,
as
little
long as they
purple
can
yeet
be
man's
expressed
back.
as a ratio of
Yeet.
two integers.
I want to just take a ruler and just yeet my math problems away.
According to the definition of rational numbers, which of these is not rational?
What? It's
The
a
answer
negative.
is B. A rational number
Rational
can be
numbers
expressed in the form a over b, where b is not 0. Therefore, 6 over 0 is not a rational number.
Bruh, it's just 6. Okay, well then there's 2 wrong answers, right?
We've already seen how each of these numbers can be expressed as a ratio of 2 integers. We can also express each of them as a terminating decimal, that is, as decimals having a finite number of non-zero digits. When the non-zero digits end or terminate, all remaining decimal places are zeros. 15,
Yes.
1/4, 0.2, and negative 6.75 are all terminating. The non-zero digit furthest to the right terminates the number, so all additional digits would be 0. Sometimes decimals don't terminate. Some non-terminating decimals are repeating decimals. A repeating decimal contains a number or sequence of
Why is
numbers
that
that begins
terrible
somewhere to the
repeating
right of the
after
decimal
everything?
point and repeats forever. Look at this decimal. The horizontal bar above the 5 indicates that the 5 repeats, so this number does not terminate. Repeating decimals can also be changed into fractions, so repeating decimals are rational numbers. Which of these is not a terminating decimal?
Wow.
The answer is D. The bar over the 8 tells us that the 8 repeats infinitely.
It does. You were the big Curtamundo.
The set of real numbers contains rational numbers and irrational numbers.
Yes.
The prefix "ir" means not, lacking, or opposite of. So an irrational number is defined as any real number that is not a rational number. Irrational numbers are those numbers that cannot be represented in the form a over b, where a and b are integers. For example, these numbers cannot be written as a ratio of 2 integers. The positive square root of 2 is approximately equal to 1.4142135, and on. The positive square root of 3 is approximately equal to 1.7320508, and on. And the positive square root of 5 is approximately equal to 2.2360679, and on. These are just a few square roots that cannot be represented as a ratio of 2 integers. It's important to note that not all square roots are irrational numbers. In fact, the square root of any perfect square, such as the square root of 4, 9, or 16, can be represented as the ratio of 2 integers and are therefore rational. Many square roots are common irrational numbers. Pi, e, and the golden ratio are also examples of other common irrational numbers. Sometimes you may see pi represented as 3.14 or something similar. But it's important to know that this is only an approximation of pi. Pi is actually a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal that starts with 3.14159, and so on. The actual value of pi is an irrational number. No sequence of digits continually repeats one after the other in the decimal representation of pi. Another irrational number often used in mathematics and science is the Euler number, written as e. Its value is approximately 2.71828, and on. The golden ratio, which is approximately 1.61803, and on, is also an example of an irrational number. The golden ratio can be found in man-made works, such as the Parthenon in Greece and the portrait of Mona Lisa, as well as in nature in the spirals of pine cones and in the head of a daisy.
Yeah, I watched Vihart.
Identify the irrational numbers from the given.
Everything. Oh, wait, that ends.
The answers are choices B, C, and E.
Wait a minute,
I,
how
the
is
square root of 12,
it's
and
got a bar on it, so it should be
2.71826, and on are
Oh.
irrational numbers. They are non-terminating and non-repeating.
It's the same.
The other numbers are either terminating or they're repeating decimals.
Yeah, get it.
Okay, let's review.
Some
A rational number is a number that can be expressed as a ratio of 2 integers. A terminating decimal is a decimal that has a finite number of non-zero digits. The non-zero digits end or terminate, and all remaining decimal places are zeros. A rational number can be a terminating or a repeating decimal. Because any terminating or repeating decimal number is rational, it can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. An irrational number is one that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers. Its decimal form is non-terminating and non-repeating.
That's it? That's it? Okay. Pookie pookie.
Listen quiz.
Ooh,
The quiz
test.
question.
I like this spirit. A terminating. A terminator. A terminator. A rational number. Z is a rational number. Irrational. Yes. Is it a rational number? I don't know. Is an irrational number. Irrational number? I probably didn't do too good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I knew I did not do too good. I knew I did not do too good on that. Oh, so that 10 is not... 10 is rational? Huh. Well, which one of these is irrational? Or a terminator? Okay. Okay. Instruction, absolute value.
Susanna and Ram are looking at the map of their town to lay out a race course that will start at the school at the intersection of Main and H Street. Susanna notes that the first turn is at C Street, which is 5 blocks from the intersection. Ram notes that C Street is 5 blocks left, which is in the negative direction from the intersection. Both Susanna and Ram are referring to the same location on the map using the idea of absolute value. Mathematics uses the concept of absolute value to convert from numbers, coordinates, and positions, which can be positive, 0, or negative, to distances, which are always non-negative. That is the topic of this lesson. Let's begin.
It's weird.
This cutaway figure represents
I'd
the
rather
little
have
swimming
Miss
pool.
Robot
It
voice
has a
than
diving board located
Miss
3 feet above the water
KKK.
surface and a ladder on the side of the pool that extends 3 feet below the water surface. These
Wait, what? I think Miss Robot voice is better than Miss KKK for sure.
heights and depths can be represented by
I
real
mean-
numbers
I mean, her name is literally Miss KKK. Who wants that to be your teacher?
along a number line. On a number line, a signed number has 2 important properties, a numeral and a sign. The numeral tells us how far from 0 the number lies on a number line. The sign tells us on what side of 0 the number lies. If we think of the water surface as 0, we can represent the location of the diving board as the coordinate positive 3, and the location of the bottom of the ladder as the coordinate negative 3. Both distances equal 3 feet, but the sign in front of each coordinate tells us if we're above the water or below it. We can define the absolute value of a number as its distance from 0 on a number line. So finding distance in a coordinate system, which is never negative, involves finding the absolute value of a number. The absolute value of a number can never be negative. In the case of our swimming pool distances, the absolute value of positive 3 is 3.
Eat boy.
And the absolute value of negative 3 is also 3.
What?
This is sleeping on my line.
Baby Gib Gib?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is because on a number line, both positive 3 and negative 3 are the same distance from 0. What is the absolute value of negative 5?
Fiv.
The absolute value of negative 5 is 5 because negative 5 lies 5 units from 0 on a number line.
What?
Now let's take
It's
another
like
look
the
at
simplest thing possible. It's just a number line.
It's the first day, bro.
the swimming pool problem.
First night.
The absolute
Yeah, I get that.
value
I
of
get.
negative 3
I
can
understand
be
the
written like
premise.
this. The two vertical bars around the number indicate that we want the absolute value of the number between them.
Yeah, I'd rather have it be
Remember,
easy than
the
just
absolute value
KKK.
of a number is its distance from 0 on a number line. So its value is never negative. We can also show the distance from the
It's
water
pretty
surface to
tedious
the bottom
going
of
back
the
and
ladder
forth.
like this. And write the distance from the water surface to the diving board like this. Notice that there are two integers whose absolute value is 3. Positive 3
Boy.
and negative 3.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Here's an example.
Huh.
Which two of the following statements are true? Think about the answer. The statements that are true are A and B. This is because the absolute value of a number is never negative. The absolute value of a real number is its distance from 0 on a number line, regardless of its sign.
Yes.
Click the two statements below that are true.
Go ahead.
The statements that are true are A and D. The absolute value of a number is never negative. It is defined as the distance of the number from 0 on a number line,
Or the number
regardless
without
of
the
its
sign.
sign.
Kelly.
Now let's see how to compare the absolute values of two numbers.
Okay.
A diving board is 3 feet above the water surface, and the bottom of the pool is 9 feet below the water surface. If we let 0 represent the surface of the water, then the location of the diving board can be written as the coordinate positive 3. And the location of the bottom of the pool can be written as the coordinate negative 9. We can compare the distance from the surface of the water to the diving board and the distance from the surface to the bottom of the pool using absolute value. We know that the absolute value of negative 9 equals 9, and the absolute value of positive 3 equals 3. So we can compare the absolute value of negative 9 and the absolute value of positive 3 by comparing 9 and 3. 9 is greater than 3. So we can write the absolute value of negative 9 is greater than the absolute value of positive 3. So, the distance from the water surface to the bottom of the pool is greater than the distance from the water surface to the diving board. Which of the following expressions is correct?
What?
The absolute value of negative 25 is greater than the absolute value of negative 20, because the absolute value of each number is positive, and 25 is greater than 20.
But I clicked that one. Okay, weird flex.
We have been comparing expressions involving two absolute values. Now let's compare the absolute value of a number and a number. For example, what is the order relationship between the absolute value of -4 and 2? To compare these numbers, we will need to evaluate the absolute value of -4. The absolute value of -4 equals 4. So, the absolute value of -4 is greater than 2 because 4 is greater than 2.
Okay.
Click the number sentence that shows the correct order relationship between these two numbers. The absolute value of -13 is 13, and 13 is greater than 5. So, the absolute value of -13 is greater than 5. Let's look at how we might use absolute value to compare the absolute value of two numbers. An elevator in one of the world's tallest buildings in Japan rises 1,280 feet. Halfway around the world, in Africa, a gold mine has an elevator that travels about 5,900 feet below sea level. Let's assume that we want to use absolute values to compare the distances above and below ground level. If 0 represents ground level, the distance of the elevator from ground level to the top of the building can be written as the absolute value of 1,280. And the distance from the surface of the ground to the bottom of the mine shaft can be written as the absolute value of -5,900. The absolute value of 1,280 equals 1,280. And the absolute value of -5,900 equals 5,900. Therefore, the absolute value of 1,280 is less than the absolute value of -5,900. In comparison, they're not even close.
Why?
Is this nothing like what y'all were doing in school?
No, we did this like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Well, at least I did this 2 years ago. I don't know about the other guys. They kind of, Pooh Brain for Adventure Time? Oh, well. Remember that one episode the Ice King dressed up as a horse and just kind of stalked Finn and Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finn had a quote and called the horse Pooh Brain, and yeah, this is yeah Pooh Brain. Ooh, yay! I would like to.
She put ice in it by accident, and she's like, and I'm like, yeah, there's a light ice. She's like, oh yeah, and then dumps out all the ice and put Sprite in it.
Did you dump out the Sprite?
No,
Just the ice.
just ice.
Okay.
She put more Sprite in it. There wasn't even Sprite in it when she put the ice in there.
How much ice did she put in?
Like 3 pieces.
Oh,
Then she
okay.
looked at it and said, oh yeah, Dana doesn't like ice and dumped it all out.
Y'all really need. I don't know why it's so hard for you guys to say Riley.
Kimberly's already eaten. She's good to go.
Close. It's hard to believe an elevator can go that much deeper into the earth than the height of one of the world's highest buildings.
You cannot tell Mom and Dad this, guys. She said I can tell you, but I'm
That's so
Dan.
sweet.
I tell Riley. Okay, so I went to go to
Stay here?
Yeah. You want to go to Grateful Lodge for my birthday?
Why are we going to Great Wolf Lodge? That place sucks.
Because I like it. And I get a cabin bad cabin, I get a bunk bed.
Okay. I mean,
The only reason you're not getting this because it's an hour away, and I know that you.
Suppose you are standing
Yeah,
on a
that place
hill next to a
sucks.
lake that is
don't even
35
get to
feet
swim.
above the surface of the lake. You throw a stone that lands at the bottom of the lake, which is
I
48
do
feet
know,
deep.
but I don't get to swim still.
On a number line, we can let 0 represent the surface of the lake.
Jesus.
That was my accident.
Now choose the number sentence that best describes the relationship between the distance from the surface of the lake to the bottom of the lake
Yeah.
and the distance from the surface of the lake to the top of the
All
hill.
the batteries out. So I don't know which batteries are mine and which ones are yours. What? Because mine still have a little bit of ink in it, and yours like none.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's my batteries for my controller?
I don't know. Ask Dad. He's the one with the batteries and the money. That kid, the kitten's trying to like hop. Hold on. I want to get the little
I was going home.
I just wanted the baby. Ow.
That's what you get for going to my way when you do on
Ow.
Look at this.
Boys lie. 14-year-old girls. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Blackout. Apex Legends. Fortnite. Minecraft. You picked the wrong house full. Me escaping from Area 51 with a bag of lays that contains 100% chips and 0% air. No, it doesn't affect my baby. 12 years later.
Hey, can I say something, Gavin?
No matter how big your house is, how recent your car is, how big your bank account is, our grades will be the same size. Stay humble. Egyptians. You're not just wrong, you're also poor.
Yeah, Juju's in here.
You start leaving like that, Brian?
Friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend. Only Caterpillar 340F hydraulic excavator has no end. Pokemon. It's Diglett. Han Solo. Astrology. Astronomy. French weapons in history. Teacher, please grade each other's work yourself, me and the boys. 12-year-old me, you must be 18 plus to view content. Yearborn, 1348. Couple find a giant huntsman spider. No, it's fine. I've had worse. I asked my BF to make me some fucking hot chocolate, and the entire time he was trying to remember that one Harry Potter spell about turning water to rum. Anyway, he came in with my drink and he just goes, "I have Newt, sperm of Groot," and I don't remember the rest because I just burst into tears. I have Newt, sperm of Groot. Kids work together to create eternal recess. Community. Okay, but guys, roller coasters, but like in space, there is literally an entire course in Mario Kart dedicated to prove why that is a bad idea. I hope everyone is having a fucking day, easily one of the days I've had all week. Tooth fairies are a smaller and friendlier subspecies of the larger and much more hostile bone fairies. Thank you for this bespoke nightmare. Bro, forget that. How much money do I get for a femur under my pillow? The doctor took a long look at my nuts before finally saying, "These are too fat," and smacking them. Did somebody bring back night blogging while I wasn't looking? Because sign me the fuck up. This person just woke up from a 5-year-long coma. Damn, fuck up. This person just woke up from a 5-year-long coma. Damn, my pants ripped in the desert. The sand so hot on my dick. Bro, look out for that cactus. The cactus so pain on my dick. Why is Peter Pan always flying? He never lands. I love this joke because it never grows old. It has a nice hook. It ticks to its own rhythm. I don't get it. I'm lost, boys. This is really how it feels with your cat in your bed. Peppers are the spicy of the fire. Mint is the spicy of the ice. Carbonation is the spicy of the air. And vinegar is the spicy of the water. Why would you say something?
Hi. Ookie bookie.
Think about the answer. The answer is B. The distance from the surface of the lake to the top of the hill.
What do you want, you hit?
the tree for half a second and I had to calculate. Like Minecraft, it's an RSMS stream, not Cow Belly 20.
Dude, I was eating and I have to do this. Do you see what I'm doing right now?
No.
It's homeschool. Homeschool.
Don't fucking care.
No, obviously not. Now, can you let me get back to doing my stuff I already learned 4 years ago?
Can be represented as the absolute value of 35. The distance from the surface of the lake to the bottom can be represented as the absolute value of negative 48. The absolute value of negative 48 is 48. And the absolute value of 35 is 35. Because 48 is greater than 35, then the absolute value of negative 48 is greater than the absolute value of 35.
I feel bad, I gotta give you the answers, bro.
What?
Turn around and let me see the screen. Turn around the camera, let me see. Turn around the camera and let me see the screen.
Wait, what? Dude.
I gotta give you the answers. I feel bad.
Why?
When extended, the periscope of a submarine is about 18 feet above sea level. When retracted, the top of the periscope is 10 feet below sea level.
It's just a robot.
Suppose that a
Listen.
number line is used to represent this situation, with sea level at 0.
She's still better
Which
than Miss
number
K.
sentence describes the relationship between the distance from the surface? That's not it. To compare two
Turn around
numbers
the camera. I'm gonna give
expressed
you the answer.
using absolute
Dude,
values,
just go to the stream and put
evaluate
stuff
the
in the
absolute
chat. Or
value
actually,
of
hold on.
each
I'll be right
number.
back.
It's delayed.
Then compare the results.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Hey, I gotta go on. I got What is my teeth right now? I'm doing.
I hate to say it, yeah, I don't think some of them all should be not me, but at the same time.
If I lose my rank because of you, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, this is what happens when you show Jimbo. It says Jimbo. Why are there subtitles on that? Oh, I've played 60. Yep, I was right. I actually have first. Ew. Oh my god. I'm gonna instantly go down, man.
Okay, I'm back. I had to wipe off puke off my controller.
Oh. I can't give you the answers right now. I just got into a game that I can't leave. It's also a fighting game.
Dude, I don't care. Hey, you wanna play Fark Knife?
Oh, did you see what 2 new locations are coming back?
Risky and Greasy.
Not Risky, Paradise.
Paradise?
I mean Moisty.
Oh, I was about to say, what the hoo-ha? Isn't that already in the game? I already kind of knew that. I'm pretty sure just about everyone did. Okay, I'm gonna get on Fork Knife at 9 o'clock because I've been doing a lot of this stuff, and my brain is about to turn to mush. I need a break.
Alright. You play Sharon like a bitch.
Hey, Caden.
Yeah.
There's a word that I don't fully understand.
I got him! I got him! What's the word? What's the word?
The bird is the word. I'm just kidding now. That word.
The bird's the word. Periscope? You don't know what a periscope is?
No, I keep thinking of the word peridot whenever I read it. I can't read that word. It keeps changing to peridot in my mind.
course it does.
Don't bully me. I've watched the Steven Universe maybe like 15 times. Send to egg. Caden, I accidentally clicked right click and it says send to egg. Caden, it says send to egg.
You never know what you were saying from.
It says send to egg, Caden. Help.
It is an actual phone call. It's not this one.
Caden, why does it say send to egg? I'm gonna send it to egg. Sending to egg. Okay.
Actually, yeah. It's fine.
Okay. Peace.